She bombards Evelyn with bombshell after bombshell, her eyes flashing with resolve. As rumors of treachery turn into direct allegations, fans are stunned. Was Evelyn's investigation into Chantel's family really fruitful? When Evelyn's face lost its color, there were a lot of motions. In a moment, her usual poise was broken. You can just feel the tension igniting through your screen as the family was split apart in an instant. However, it is just the start. Idle rumors are only one aspect of Ming's exposé. She reveals a wealth of purported communications, covert recordings, and backdoor schemes that implicate Evelyn in orchestrating this mother-daughter drama. Jackie's vicious response was captured on camera, creates a battleground of slamming doors and insulting comments out of this beachfront retreat. Will friendships be permanently shattered by these disclosures, or will loyalty endure? Because nothing is off limits and every secret has a cost in the world of BBS 12, stay tuned as we examine every explosive moment. As Ming took a leisurely drink of her iced tea, she relaxed in her chair with the wind blowing over her hair. She was ready to unleash a hurricane that seemed worlds away from the calm setting of palm-palms and blue waves. Confusion flashed over Evelyn's face as she listened closely while wearing a flowing sundress. I'm always honest, you know? Ming started off with a quiet but determined voice. However, I have more to reveal today than just tea. Evelyn's body tensed up. The happy holiday atmosphere vanishes in a flash. Sensing the tension, Denise looked between them. Sitting close by, Chantel left her phone on the table. With narrowed brows, Evelyn questioned, "What are you talking about?" Ming's eyes were flaming as she leaned forward. She continued, "You've been digging," in a voice that trembled with repressed rage. "You were trying to find out about Chantel's family? You were texting Denise to ask questions about Chantel's past. Would you mind explaining?" Evelyn's lips parted, and she looked to Denise and then to Chantel as if they would step in, but both of them remained silent, their expressions unreadable. "I saw the messages," Denise said, her voice breaking the silence. "And you wanted details about Chantel's childhood, parents, and even her college years. You framed it as concern, but we all know why you really wanted them." Evelyn's hand fluttered to her chest, her voice trembling. "That's not true," she protested, her voice trembling. "I was just making conversation," Ming said, leaning back. "You're not that clueless. We all know you thrive on secrets," she said. When Jackie eventually intervened, she was resting against a nearby palm with her arms crossed. "Give her a chance to speak," she urged, but her tone suggested skepticism, and Evelyn's eyes were fixed on Jackie with a flash of desperation. "Jackie, please, you're familiar with me. Why would I do that?" Ming's smile was thin, almost predatory. "'Cause Evelyn, you're obsessed. It's obsessed with being seen as the one who knows everything. You crave power control, so you dig." The words landed like stones in the sand. And for a moment, the only sound was the distant crash of the waves. Chell rose, her shoulders squared. "Stop tiptoeing around," she said, voice firm. She held her phone up, revealing a string of texts. "Here from last week, you asked me about my mother's well-being. Then suddenly pivoted to my dad's business troubles. When I asked why, you said it was for a fundraiser baloney." Evelyn's eyes darted to Chantel's phone, then back to Ming. "You're twisting things," she snapped, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. Ming reached across and swiped through the text, pausing on one that read, "I need dirt on Chantel." Jackie looked at it, and then back at Evelyn, her face tightening. "That's enough," Jackie replied, her jaw set. "Either you own up or we walk away." "Please help me," she begged. Evelyn's face flushed crimson. She opened her mouth, then closed, it unable to form words. Fat's silence stretched heavy with unspoken accusations. Finally, she whispered, "I was trying to protect her." Chantel let out a harsh, disbelieving chuckle. "Keep her safe," she sneered. "How does spying on your friend protect you?" "It's betrayal, plain and simple." The drama intensified when Ming pulled out a small recorder and set it on the table. "I thought you'd deny everything," she said, pressing play. "I just want to know what I'm dealing with," Evelyn said, her voice echoing in the silence. "I need to understand her weakness." Jackie's eyes widened as she listened to the confession, her face a mask of hurt and incredulousness. "How could you?" she murmured, her hands shaking. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," she said, her voice raw. "I thought it was harmless curiosity." Chantel shook her head, tears glinting in her eyes. This trip was supposed to be about bonding, but instead we're here exposed. Dot. As the recorder's playback ended, Ming stood smoothing her dress. "You deserve the truth. What do you think, Jackie?" Jackie closed her eyes, drawing a shaky breath. I think mothers don't turn on each other. You betrayed my trust. You used Denise as a pawn. Denise looked away, regret and guilt mingling in her gaze. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I should have said no. Evelyn suddenly rushed forward, her voice shaking as she wailed. I'm sorry, her words reverberating like a gavel strike. I was afraid of losing my place, of being left out, she said. Fear doesn't excuse betrayal, Ming replied in a cold voice, her face briefly softening before hardening once again. You crossed a line. You'd better explain yourself or don't bother coming back, Chantel said, her face a raging maelstrom of pain and rage. Jackie gently put a touch on Evelyn's arm and whispered, We can fix this, but only if you own up. Evelyn gave a nod. Denise dried her eyes and murmured, I want my friendship back. But trust is difficult to come by. I'll do whatever it takes, she said, her tears still streaming down her face. Chantel looked at her, then at Evelyn. Prove it. At that moment, a new notification chimed on Chantel's phone. She glanced down, eyes widening. What now? Ming asked. Brows knitting together. Chantel scrolled, then showed the screen a video clip recorded earlier that morning of Evelyn speaking to a crew member about digging up secrets. The crew member laughed and replied, That's hazardous ground. This wasn't just about me, Chantel murmured softly, her finger hovering over play. She's been doing this to everyone. Jackie's face palled as she realized the implications. We're not done, Chantel said, voice low but determined. This trip just turned into an investigation. Ming nodded, a plan forming behind her eyes. Let's get to the bottom of it. Evelyn sank back, the weight of her actions bearing down on her. What have I done? We need evidence, she said in a businesslike tone. Denise, you have the texts. Chantel, you have the video. Jackie, keep an eye on things. We need evidence, she whispered, settling into her seat as the two women looked at each other. Are you ready to unearth more secrets? The tone changed from confrontation to clandestine operation. The drama was just getting started, and the women of BBUS 12 were about to discover that the cost of secrets could be far greater than they ever imagined. Ming slipped away from the table, leaving Chantel and Jackie conferring quietly by the palapa, while Denise hovered nearby, wringing her hands as if torn between loyalty and guilt. Keep an eye on Evelyn. See if she makes another move. Jackie nodded, determined to settle over her like armor. I'm on it. Chantel put her phone in her pocket and Ming stood. Then we'll meet back here in an hour with whatever we find. The beach loungers behind them were empty, but the weight of their scrutiny weighed down on Evelyn like a physical force as she stood at the edge of the seating area, her sundress billowing in the breeze, eyes darting as if seeking a way out. Chantel whispered, I'm going to check her room first. She motioned for Jackie to follow, and the two moved off through the sandy path towards the villa. Ming watched them go, then turned to Denise. You up for acquiring those texts? Denise swallowed and took her phone out of her bag. Yeah, she said, opening the messaging app, her fingers shaking as she scrolled through the conversation. Wow, she breathed. She even set up a meeting with that private investigator. Ming arched an eyebrow yesterday. Private investigator? Denise nodded. She's been trying to look into everyone's past, she said, eyes widening at the screen. There's a payment confirmation. $2,000. Ming's mouth curled into a satisfied smile. Bingo. Chantel and Jackie sneaked into Evelyn's suite, which had an unlocked door, a bed that was neatly made, and a faint smell of coconut sunscreen. Chantel picked up a stack of papers that were strewn all over the desk. Look at this, she whispered, pulling out a folder labeled research. There were pictures from each friend's wedding, Denise, the birthday of Jackie's daughter, even Ming's graduation from college. Graduating from college? Scribbled notes filled the margins. Leverage, emotional trigger, insecurity. Leverage, emotional trigger, insecurity. Chantel's jaw tensed. Jackie's breath hitched, and dirt began to accumulate. Jackie walked around the desk and found a little leather-bound diary tucked away below. Operation Protect Me was the page she saw when she opened it. There were intricate plans below, which caused tension between Chantal and Denise. Turn Jackie and Ming against one another. As the sole reliable friend, she isolates herself. Jackie said in a low, stern voice. This is psychotic. The bathroom door squeaked open at that moment. Towing her hair, Evelyn came out and froze when she saw the two ladies searching through her belongings. Her eyes were wide as she asked, What are you doing? Chantel whirled, holding the pictures. Ask her that, she said in a cold tone. Evelyn turned back to the man and said, "Why do you have our lives laid out like evidence?" "Door." She stumbled. I was worried about us," she said. As Jackie threw the diary onto the bed, she said, "I only wanted to understand you to keep us safe. Secure. This is stalking." As Chantal moved forward, the space appeared to be filled with the sound of breaking waves. "You betrayed all of our confidence." Tears came to Evelyn's eyes. "I apologize," she sobbed. "It wasn't my intention." She crossed her arms with the key. "Apologies won't make this better." Ming and Denise heard loud voices outside. Denise called, "They need support." Ming gave a nod. "Come on." The tension increased as they strode towards the suite. Chantal took Evelyn's arm inside. She growled, "You must tell us everything." Evelyn's shoulders trembled as she said, "Every secret, every plan." I felt alone. "I was afraid you would replace me." Chantal's hold relaxed. Evelyn's voice wavered as she said, "We could have talked." Jackie sneered, "I know. I lost my head. We no longer have a friendship with you." As Ming and Denise came in behind them, a thick stillness fell. Ming took in the view. Chantal gave Evelyn a fierce look. Jackie folded her arms. Denise was standing at the entrance, unsure. "Hey," Ming remarked in a composed but commanding tone. She gestured for them to stand in a circle and said, "Lay it all out." "No more lies." Evelyn's face crumpled as she said, "Once we were together, you owe us the truth." "What about those recordings you mentioned on the beach earlier?" "I did record some conversations. I thought if I had proof, I could protect myself." Ming's eyes narrowed. "Protect yourself from what?" Evelyn swallowed. "Being abandoned. So you manipulated us to feel sorry for you?" Jonal asked. Evelyn closed her eyes. "I panicked. I didn't know how to reach out, so I did this." Ming shook her head. "This isn't reaching out. It's abuse." Denise stepped forward. "There's more," she said, her voice shaking. "I saw payments to that investigator and I found messages. She said she was planning to leak stories to the tabloids." Evelyn's eyes widened. "No, I never meant that." Chantal looked accusingly at Ming. Ming pulled up the investigator's invoice on her phone. July 3rd, $2,000. Purpose, background check for personal security. Evelyn's shoulders slumped. "I thought I could help if I found something." Jackie sneered. "Help! You wanted to expose us." Evelyn fell to her knees. "I'm so sorry. I thought I was protecting you from betrayal, but I was the one betraying you." The group fell silent as Evelyn's sobs reverberated. "We've all made mistakes," she said. Ming interrupted. "We can't just pretend this didn't happen. Maybe this can be a turning point. Evelyn genuinely wants to make amends. We need a plan." Denise wiped her cheeks. "Trust has to be rebuilt," Chantal nodded. "We could set boundaries, have open conversations." "And if she crosses those boundaries again?" Evelyn looked up, desperation in her eyes. "And if she crosses those boundaries again, I'll accept the consequences." "Okay," Ming folded her arms. "First step, delete all recordings. Return everything you've taken." Ming's expression darkened. "She's not done." Jackie's heart pounded. "What video?" Chantal tapped the screen and then showed them a thumbnail, a blurry clip of Jackie and her daughter at a playground. Jackie's face went pale. "How did she get that?" Evelyn looked shocked. "I don't know." Chantal's fingers flew over her phone. Instantly, Chantal's phone pinged. She looked down, frowning. Another message. She read, "We need to stop this before it goes public." Denise clenched her fists. "We have to work together." Chantal straightened. "Evelyn, if you want to earn our trust, you help us stop that leak." Evelyn nodded, determination replacing tears. "I'll get in touch with the gossip group." "I'll handle it." Ming exhaled. "We move fast." "No mistakes." Jackie looked at Evelyn warily. "I want to believe you," she said quietly. The stakes had risen beyond petty spying, and now they faced the possibility of real damage to families and reputations as they gather their phones and information. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in bruised purples and fiery orange as a fitting backdrop for their dramatic pact. The four women exchanged glances and formed a tenuous alliance. The sound of distant thunder rolled across the bay as if echoing their turmoil, and each woman knew that the coming hours would test the bonds they thought they understood. As the sky grew darker and rain clouds began to gather on the horizon, Ming checked her watch and said, "Time's up." Chantal tapped at her phone, trying to find the source of the gossip group, and she reported, I've narrowed it down to 2 admins, saying, one goes by Sebza, the other Island Insider. Both have access to our personal details. Jackie hovered over Chantel's shoulder, her face etched with anxiety. What do we do now? You still have that investigator's contact, she muttered, pressing her lips together as she turned to face Denise. He stated he could assist with digital forensics to trace the leak back to the uploader, and Denise nodded, holding his phone. Ming nodded curtly. Let's bring in professional help. Evelyn, you handled the gossip group message. Denise will coordinate with the investigator. Chantel and I will trace the social media footprints. Understood? Understood? I'm a concerned friend. Please remove the clip of Jackie's daughter. There's no news value and it's harming our friendship. I'm a concerned friend. I'm a friend. Please remove the clip of Jackie's daughter. There's no news value and it's harming our friendship. Evelyn took a deep breath, her fingers shaking as she drafted a message to the gossip group. Understand? Understand? She said, trembling. Jackie's voice trembled. We have to protect my daughter. Chantel glared at the phone. We need another way. Ming thought about their options. If we can identify the uploader, the investigator can threaten legal action. They might back down. Chantal nodded. She opened the reply. Send payment of $500 via Venmo and we'll delete it. Her stomach twisted. She looked up, shame and panic in her eyes. They want money, Denise moaned. Of course they do. Ming's jaw clenched. Let's move this along more quickly. As Chantal and Ming dug into social media logs, opening tabs and cross-referencing timestamps Denise's page through her contacts to get to the investigator, she said in a hopeful voice, he's responding. He can start tracing the upload within the hour. Ming exhaled. Good. We stall the gossip group until... Then, Jackie bit her lip. I don't want to see my daughter's face plastered. Everywhere. Evelyn moved closer. I'll block the group. Delete any reposts. The women fell into tense silence, each struggling with guilt, fear, and determination. Outside, the first raindrops fell. Ming tapped her phone. I've got Seabreeze's handle a private account with minimal posts, but a pattern of sharing insider information. Chantal clapped. That's our lead. Ming nodded. We'll focus on Sabza first. We can prove they shared the clip. We apply pressure. Denise's phone rang. She looked at the screen and saw it was Himtha, investigators on the line. She swiped and put it on speaker. I'm ready, she said. The investigator's cool voice answered. I've traced the clip's metadata. It originated from a device registered to a public Wi-Fi network at the beach bar you visited yesterday. Ming scowled. So it's someone on staff? The investigator confirmed. Perhaps an employee or patron with access. I can subpoena the Wi-Fi logs, but the venue will need a push. We need to know who. The investigator went on, have a match soon. Denise nodded. Thank you. Investigator hung up. Ming sighed. We're close. Chantel insisted on going back to the beach bar to get clues in person, even though it was supposed to rain. We need context, she said. Seeing this scene might spark a lead. What? Jackie paused, then said, it's raining. We're already in crisis mode, Ming said, casting a peek towards the skies. Come on. The only noises as they reluctantly climbed into Chantel's SUV and traveled the convoluted route to the pub were the buzz of the motors and the steady patter of rain on the windscreen. Nerves tightened. At the bar, mist curled around the neon sign. When Telltale pulled open the door, they were met by the smell of salt and spilt drinks. They went to the manager's office, where a nervous assistant waited. Ming smiled politely and said, We're friends of the women in that video. We need to review the Wi-Fi login sheet. The assistant stammered, We're under a privacy violation threat. This is about stopping potential blackmail. Chanel's patience snapped. Ming nodded firmly. Chanel's patience snapped. Ming nodded firmly. Ming tapped her phone and said, I'll send this to the investigator. He'll confirm identity via employment records. Chantel looked at Evelyn and said, Let me handle the message to the gossip group again. It's time I'll say I have evidence linking the leak to their member. Evelyn nodded. Do it. Jackie hovered. Be careful. Chantel took a deep breath and typed, We know who you are. Ming's phone buzzed with an alert. Chantel's uploaded logbook photo had leaked on a gossip website. Captioned, Friends Turn Detective